All right, Naomi, go ahead and ask your question again.
Okay, so for the first question, can you clarify the attacks that you made upon our second contention?
Yes. Okay. So what I wanted to say is that like correlation versus causation. So just because people who are religious might have more health benefits, we can't say that they're caused by the religious beliefs and practices, because we can't say for sure that there's a causation between the two. And we need to look at the negative impacts, even if there are some of these health benefits, the negative impacts outweigh it. Zion, do you have a question?
Yes. In your first kind of like speech, you mentioned that there were other health benefits. Sorry, could you repeat what some of those benefits were?
Yes, let me just, can you split my screen really fast? Sorry.
Okay.
Can you guys see me?
Yes.
Okay. 1 minute. In the second contention, we said just like healthy, stable family life, strong marriages, and well-behaved children.
Okay, thank you.
We also talked about reduction in domestic abuse, crime, substance abuse, and an increase in physical mental health, and on average 7 years longer lifespan, primarily tied to um, the other effects that we've listed leading to longer lives.
Do you guys have a question?
In your most recent speech, you said there's too much influence in politics. Is
Mhm.
this referring just back to the wars that are going on, or
Uh,
that happened?
No, actually, the piece of evidence that we read is that 37% of Americans say that church and other houses of worship currently have too much influence in politics, whether that means, and that's going to look at America specifically. So whether they're like influencing candidates, stuff like that. My question for you guys is, uh, how do you, with wars that are like fought in the name of religion, how does that mean that religious beliefs and practices impact society in a positive way if there are wars fought in the name of religion?
Well, towards wars being fought in the name of religion, I think there is no way that you can construe that a war can be beneficial to society. However, I think we can point out that a vast majority of religions are not currently conducting any wars and are not propagating or advertising for war.
Mhm.
And also, many religions have been outright against war in the past.
We have about like 10 seconds if anyone has a quick question.
Um, I think I'm
Nope.
good.
Okay. Then it's time for the AFS consolidation. Unless you guys want to take prep, which you totally can.
I will just begin now. Um, okay. In our in one of the main conflicts in our speech was division, and division actually from religion can bring people together. We have a quote saying that religion creates a community of like-minded people that is oriented around faith, but also often organized around like types of people, whether it's race, ethnicity, social class, or something similar. This is more than just a form of a support group, but is an actual community in which people can identify with each other and care for each other based on their shared beliefs and commitments, end quote. This is saying that there it helps bring people together rather than divide them because they have similar things that they can relate on in their religious practices and beliefs, which they are doing. And religion also has a positive impact on society, considering with the crime rates. We have a piece of evidence saying that the American the American economy benefits to 2.6 trillion per year thanks to a religious country. And this quote is in connected to that we don't that the American government doesn't really have to pay for people going through the system anymore due to less crime rates. And going back over our contentions with mental health, many Americans have good morals and values due to being religious, and there is again a not as big as a crime rate if one does practice religions. Okay, that is it. Thank you.
And it's the neg consolidation, correct? I will take a minute of prep. Starting. Begin my timer. Sorry. Minute of prep starting now. Okay, that's been a minute of my prep time, so I will begin my speech now. Our opponents mentioned that religion, in their second contention, that religion means that there are higher health benefits. However, while this may seem true when you look at things like drug abuse rates and things of that nature, it's not entirely true because many religious groups routinely reject some or all mainstream or healthcare on theological grounds. According to cga.ct.gov, there are a number of provisions that state law and that allows parents or minors to refuse certain medical treatment or health screenings for religious purposes. So this doesn't like since they are refusing normal checkups and things of that nature, it doesn't necessarily mean they have higher health benefits because they aren't going in to see those routine checks. Additionally, they mentioned that religion results in strong marriages. However, this isn't always the case. According to pewresearch.org, 69% of religious couples, end religious marriages end in divorce. And as far as the remaining 31%, just because they're still married doesn't mean that it's a healthy relationship. Sometimes religious people um, may see a stigma around therapy and try to stay out of it just because of what their religion believes or how they see that. Additionally, our opponents claim that religion creates a community of like-minded people. They said, and I quote, "It helps bring people together," and they creates a community of like-minded people. However, it doesn't bring everyone together. Our opponent said it brings the like-minded. People who think differently are on the outskirts. Once again, creating that us versus them scenario that we talked about in our first speech. And it is for these reasons that you should vote in the side of the negation.
Okay, so before the affirmative final speech, I'm going to take some running prep time, and I will begin that now. Okay. So we'll be going over voter issues and my final rebuttal in this speech. I'll begin that now. I'd like to begin with voter issues and specifically the clash that we have had in this case. Specifically, conflict, large and small, health benefits, and division. To begin with conflict, religion can be used to halt greater conflict, as we stated in our attack upon upon our opponents. Subpoint A, we read a piece of evidence that stated that religion can be used as an excellent key to quelling conflict, and how it can be used to unite people and be a cause for mobilization of people to prevent conflict and to prohibit conflict. And then towards small crime rates, our opponent, or towards smaller acts of violence, our opponents admitted that religions may lower crime rates and have not provided any evidence otherwise to say that they do not lower crime rates, and therefore our evidence that they do lower crime rates must flow through the case, and therefore we must accept that smaller acts of violence are necessarily reduced with religious beliefs and practices. Moving on to the next voter issue of health. Religion undeniably has helped and is helping physical health in the modern world. We have stated that it reduces drug abuse, it reduces substance abuse, it reduces domestic violence, it increases people's lifespans. And whether religion itself is causing this change, or just people being in religion having all of these qualities, it is still statistic evidence that people's physical health is improving from being in religion. And then furthermore, on average, most consider religion to be beneficial to mental health, even if change is made. They find religion to be beneficial, and even if a small majority finds it to be detrimental, we must look at the majority as a whole. We must look at society on its own, and we must prioritize the greater number of people, because not to say any lives matter more than others, but more lives matter more than fewer lives. Moving on to the final voter issue of division. Our evidence from 2019 has stated that religious figures and participants create and are active in communities. Not only that, but statistically more active than non-religious figures and participants. For these reasons and for many more, I see no other ballot than that on the side of the affirmation. Thank you.
Okay, I will begin voter issues starting now. Okay, so the first voter issue that I'd like to talk about is the idea of division and wars. My partner and I have proven throughout today's debate that we've won this impact, and that this impact is something that is extremely detrimental, that stems exactly from religious beliefs and practices, and that it outweighs our opponent's case of mental health and other health benefits. We've proven that these division and wars are extremely detrimental to society, and that these wars aren't going away, and they're being fought in the name of religion. And because this is happening, we can see that it is not beneficial to society to have these religious beliefs and practices, so we have to vote in favor of the neg. Now, our opponents also said that we conceded the point that they may do something, but we said this may happen, but it is outweighed by the negative impacts, and that's something that a voter issue that we'd like to talk about in today's debate, because it's all our opponent's case. Although parts of it do fall, the idea that there is mental health and could be health benefits for some people, my partner and I haven't disagreed with throughout today's debate, but what we have shown is that the division, wars, and censorship outweigh these mental health benefits and other health benefits, especially because they're minuscule. The next voter issue that I'd like to talk about is the idea of correlation versus causation. Now, this is something that my opponents and I me and my partner and my opponents and I went back and forth on a lot. But as we can see in today's debate, we've proven that although they can say that there are these health benefits, they can't say it's the cause. There's just a correlation. So although they may be okay with just correlation, the division, wars, and censorships being fought in the name of religious beliefs and practices are not okay with just correlation of good mental health, a correlation of other health benefits. There has to be a causation, and we don't see that causation today. Therefore, we've won this impact. The next voter issue that I like to talk about is mental health. Mental health is something that my opponents and my partner and I went back and forth on a lot, but we have proven in today's debate that although there are some benefits to some people's mental health for religion because it might give them a place to be, their mental health is still, most people's mental health are still negatively impacted, like members of the LGBTQ community, and our opponents didn't disagree. They said it's more the people, but they didn't disagree that religious beliefs and practices can lead to this. And we can see that it still causes the division, wars, and censorship, as we've proven in today's debate. The last voter issue that I'd like to talk about is censorship. Now, this is something that my partner and I brought up brought up in our constructive and and brought it across the round. But we've proven that censorship itself is a negative thing, and in the affirmation world of religious beliefs and practices impacting society, it's completely ignoring that people are being censored in the process. So for these reasons and many more, my partner and I urge a neg ballot. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.